Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Crimsonpanda here with another episode of Mercenary Meta. Now, I didn't do an episode last week because we are using all of the data collected from HS replays, and it's taking a little bit longer than 7 days to update their data collected. So I'm going to do this every 2 weekly now, starting with today, Wednesday the 23rd. And we will go from there to see how much stuff changes over a 2-week period instead of 1 week. So this is episode 4. Today I want to focus on win rates, completely just win rates over new comps and really old existing comps and across all of the MMR ranges. So we're going to start off with the MMR range of all players. So we're going to start with minimum games, and we've obviously, as you can see here, filtered it by win rate. So the best comp for all players with a minimum game sample of 100, so this game sample has 260, that is probably a lot more, but because not everybody uses HS Deck Tracker, it doesn't tally it on this data collected thing. So as we can see, we have a 71.7% win rate, which was absolutely huge. And we're using Belinda with Water Elemental, got Varden with Chilling Amulet, Jaina, of course, with the Ice Block. So that's obviously the Frost start, which is everywhere, absolutely insane. Obviously, some people do sub it out for Valera, like the Jaina will be a Valera sometimes. But these are just really tricky to kill. Like, no one wants to kill Varden and lose a turn on one of your Mercs, and you can't kill Jaina on the first turn, so just trying to deplete her health. Still get to scale the following turn with Varden and obviously Belinda's Frost ability as well. And then on the bench, we've got Sinestra with Mana Brooch. We got Localar with Frigid Winds, which also helps with the Frost. And then Cookie with Appetizers to obviously buff these health up to keep them alive for even longer. So that is, as it stands currently, the best with a minimum game sample for all players. 71.7 win rate. Next up is just below that with a 70% win rate is Dragons. So if you didn't want to play Frost, but you wanted to play something different because Frost's tilting you out, then Dragons is also here. We got Yulong, Sinestra, and Longzin, or Longsin. So we got passive, your Dragons take 4 less, Mana Brooch again, and then Battle of Infinite Stars, which among the stars gives full health and also grants it to your Dragons, which obviously keeps these units alive pretty good. And then we're using a nature bench by the looks of it. Obviously, Yulong can use the scaling nature. So even just not having that equipment where it scales too much, you can take it into your advantage. If nothing's going to attack first turn or the second turn, then you can just use that one to obviously get your nature starting, especially if something's going to die off. So we got Cookie with Appetizers, Brucon with Lightning Rod, and Malfurion with Light Roof Staff, obviously for the heals. So that's a very good, very different comp, obviously, if you didn't want to play Frost. Just below that, we have the exact same as the top comp, apart from Band of Frost is used instead of the Chilling Amulet. So Band of Frost, obviously, there for when Belinda's Water Elemental freezes something, you get an instant +3 Frost damage, which helps with his turn 5 ability, the Flurry, and obviously the the 6 scale ability as well with Jaina. So we've got the exact same bench as well, Appetizers, Frigid Winds, and Mana Brooch. So depending on what equipment you want to use with Varden, that is why that is different. And that's one thing to note with this data collect with HS replays, is that even if you just change an equipment on one of your mercenaries, it's technically a brand new comp. So you may see this comp but change like Mana Brooch out to do more damage. That will be a completely different comp. Maybe not many people are using that, which is why the game sample size is really small as well. As you can see, this Dragon one is 730 games. Yeah, it's got a huge win rate compared to the 260 games. Even though the win rate is more, this probably is better in the long run. So bear that in mind. So, and then a very different comp here. Just below, we've got Grom, Eudora, Valera. So Grom, obviously, Halt and Sash. Eudora, Summoning Cannons. Valera, Unnatural Smoke. This obviously stops the Valera comps because they're going to attack into your cannon. Plus, you can also Halt and Sash their Valera to prevent them getting stealth straight away, or prevent them getting stealth altogether by Halt and Sash one of their other mercenaries. So we got Mana Brooch with Sinestra on the bench, Cookie's Appetizers, and Longzin's Bottle of Infinite Stars, which is a very odd place to put this Merc. Unless a couple of units die, and you're going to be Longzing, Sinestra in the late game, that would obviously work very well. That's for all players. We're going to head over and check out top 50. So as you can see, top 50, it doesn't change that much. So we have possibly the bench of this comp changes a tiny bit. So lightning rod and light root staff. It's actually just the positioning has changed for these two. I don't know why that is. And the only real new thing I can see here is this one here. So we've got a Localar, Sinestra and Longzin opener. 66.1% win rate. So Longzin obviously Frigid Winds, Mana Brooch and Bottle of Infinite Stars. And then we've got Cookie, Yulong doing the nature damage on this one, and Brukan. So I guess if people want to kill Localar because they're afraid of it on the at the start of the game, this dies, whoops, this dies, and then Yulong comes out, 2 speed, give everything nature, and then potentially if that survives, which maybe it will, you can make him attack the Longzin. That's when you bring out your Brukan Chain Lightning for big damage and your Cookie Snipe for big damage as well. So very interesting comp. And then just below here we have a Cornelius. So Cornelius Frost. So we've got Localar Cornelius Jaina. I guess that's to just keep the 2 units alive. And then we're using Belinda on the bench with Sinestra and Varden. So we've got Frigid Winds, Shield of Dawn, Ice Block, Chilling Amulet, Mana Brooch, and Water Elemental. So I guess this is just a way of whatever you're against, you could sort of prepare for it. You can bring your Belinda out with your Localar and your Varden, or your Jaina and your Varden, or you can bring out your Cornelius straight away like it looks like the comp is showing there. Okay, so let's have a look at 7.8. So the only thing here that changes is the Sinestra and Longzin. So they've just switched places. There's no real reason for that, but they have. The win rate does go down a little bit as you approach the top 20, because obviously people are more experienced. They know sort of what to focus on, so that's why the win rate is dropping. Very solid win rate by this one at the top. So still 70% win rate, and you know, it's the Frost build that people are just really good at playing, know all of the ins and outs with that. And then as you drop into the 10%, so this is 9,800 rating plus, we have dragons taking the forefront. So we've got the dragon comp that I just mentioned, but it is doing a lot better higher up than it is lower down. Not a lot better, but it is definitely the highest win rate comp up there. And then we have the Grom Valera one shortly behind that. And then we have Localar Dragons with the nature just below that. And then we do go into Ragnaros to prevent frost, and then Eudora and like some sort of shadow build. So very interesting. There's no new stuff on here. There's not enough data collected for any of the new mercenaries yet. So I'm hoping that's going to be very soon, that people start playing that and trying them out and hopefully getting some sort of successful comp out of it. Okay, let's head over to a minimum of 200 games, because you'll be surprised how much things change. So we'll start with the top 50 here. So we still have that Frost one right at the top, because obviously that has 230 games, so it's always going to be there. Followed by the Dragon Nature one, even though it's not using the Nature equipment with Yulong, it's using Pearl. Still very interesting. Feel free to pause the video when I'm heading over like all of the abilities, just all the equipment, so that you could build these if you want to. And then we've got the Frost just below that, Localar. We're using Karen Diablo bench here for this. So this is a 62% win rate, 370 game sample. So not a huge win rate compared to the 72 here, but definitely something that's still respectable, getting you those ratings, getting those ranks under your belt. And then the nature one's just below that with the dragons, and Localar just being a huge solid mercenary. Okay, and then next we have 20%. So dragons still here with the nature, just really, really big. Next we have a fire dragon comp underneath here. So this one is actually showing some work. So minimum game sample of 260. So this is 7.8 rating. So we've got Belinda using the fire elemental. And then we've got Baron using Inferno. The Inferno Fire combo deals 5 more damage. Brag obviously Surfang to prevent the frost. Sinestra's Mana Brooch, Longzin's Bottle, and Yulong's Dragons take 4 less. So you're opening with your fire, finishing on your dragons. 61% win rate, not amazing, but anything over 50, you're going to do pretty good. You are going to get those ranks in. Below that, we've got the Grom Valera Belinda starter with a Frost backline. Seen that one plenty of times. 59.2% rate. The reason I want to highlight this is because of Sky Rogers seeing play and Tyrion. So this is something a little bit different. So we've got Lokalar, obviously, Frigid Winds, really powerful. Varden, really powerful with the Lokalar's Frigid Winds, obviously. Does quite a lot of damage on turn 1. And then we're using Tyrion. So I imagine Tyrion's going to come in with a swing, hopefully killing something on that turn 1. So if you can kind of focus down, if it doesn't get punished by Belinda's Frost, which 9 times out of 10 it does get attacked if you're up against a pretty decent player. So watch out for that. Then we're using Diablo, Karen, and Rogers. So Rogers is basically another Karen when it comes to Diablo. If you can bring 2 out, instead of using the speed buff with Karen, you could use the Diablo goes next and wipe out a lot of those blues on turn, well, on the first turn when they come out, basically. Okay, so let's head into the top 10. So the top 10, absolutely nothing changes. Oh, actually, no, tell a lie. This first comp changes. So we got Belinda, Valeera, Varden. So this is the comp that is just tilty. So use Belinda, Valeera, and Varden. So you've got Varden is using Chilling Amulet. That is discretion. You can change that if you want to, because Belinda's obviously got the Frost Elemental. So Belinda swings with a 3 speed. Valeera springs with a 3 speed. Ghost Stealth, your Elemental swings with a 1 speed, freezing the most scariest unit on their side. And then Varden does his Chilling Amulet, slowing them for the next turn. And then that is just the best opener in the game so far. I will do a showcase on this comp, probably on the next video. So definitely check that out if you want to know why this is the best comp, if you're new to the game or you just want to see that sort of video. We've got Sinestra, Lokalar, and Jaina on the bench. So Jaina's been on the bench so that we can bring her in once Belinda or Valeera die, and then get those Frost Scales off. Doesn't die the first turn, so you're going to get them. We've also got Lokalar there. The Frigid Winds is just too powerful not to include him as a red mercenary. And then Sinestra, obviously, for those late games. If you end up going against Sinestra, you don't take the loss, you take the draw. Yes, that's annoying. There should be like an emote system where people could be like, if we say hello twice, we could just concede, and then we'll just end turn and get that free tie like quite quickly instead of having to queue up abilities. And then we've got the Belinda Flyer comp just below that, 200 game sample. Belinda, Grom, Valeera. So this is once again another one. This is BGV, so still with that Frost backline, but really sticky at the start. So you can slow down the Belinda so that the Valeera doesn't go off if you're going up against that. So quite a nice counter to the top one, in my opinion. And then, yeah, same again here. Look, you're using that, but with the Grom. So if you know you're going up against a 3-2-1, it's probably going to be this. So keep your eyes open for that. Okay, and then let's go into the 500. So let's see what people are playing constantly. So all players, this is where stuff starts getting a bit weird, where people are playing just stuff that they know works, right? So you've got dragons with nature backline like we've seen, Belinda, Valeera, and Varden, Sinestra, Jaina, Lokalar. So that is the broken comp. So obviously just switched around. This one's obviously using Chilling Amulet still, Ice Block, Mana Brooch, and Frigid Winds. As you can see right below it, the exact same comp apart from running Cookie instead of Jaina. So, and then below that we've got it again with Jaina, Lokalar, and Sinestra, but they're using Band of Frost. So all of these are insane comps. So if you want to try any of them, feel free, pause the video and take a look. Let's go top 10, way up. Let's go top 10. So yeah, here they are. Look, top 10. We have Belinda, Varden, Valeera. Belinda, Valeera, Varden. It's just the best comp going around. It just depends what you want to run on the bench to counter going up against it or other stuff people are trying out. And then is there any 1000 games? Not in the top 10. So all players, there's 3. Belinda, Valeera, Varden. Belinda, Valeera, Varden. Too good. Try this comp out. You will climb. Simple as that. Grom, Belinda, Valeera. So obviously they were trying that out. It does still have Varden using the Band of Frost. So you can bring that in instead of Grom if you do not need to slow anything down. If you're going up against dragons, for example. But yeah, it just takes a lot of time to learn what you're playing against by just colours alone. And once you get that, you can queue in, you can counter queue in, you can climb a lot quicker, especially with these comps. Hopefully Leroy shakes it up a little bit, and there's going to be a lot more fighting based comps, and that'll be, well, not fighter based because we have fighters now, we have 2 fighters, but I'm hoping Leroy's going to switch it up, and same with the dragons, and the tokens with Kazagas as well, is kind of making a little shake up. But that's about it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'll do another one of these in 2 weeks time, not one. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.